Hello everybody, my name's Reevesy and you're watching Week of Geek. Today I want to speak to you about New World, Amazon's MMO title, and specifically I want to talk about the reintroduction of open world full loot PvP. Now, before we go any further, I know that open world full loot PvP has been taken off the table. It's been off the table since January, and that's because Amazon wanted to get rid of this toxic play which was happening in alpha, where people were ganging up on lower levels and just stopping them from enjoying the game. I get that and I respect that decision. I do, however, wish that there was a way to implement open world PvP with full loot as well in a safe way. I'm talking about a way which doesn't impact other players' journeys. So the people who enjoy that content, like me, can still enjoy that without there being a detriment to other people. Again, I've read every article and watched every video on this. I know that it is off the table. What I want to talk to you about today is the chance for it to be implemented with Amazon Games' new patent to matchmake people based on their behavior. So to make sure we're looking into this possibility properly, I want to look at the patent which Amazon Games have just had signed off in October this year. I want to look at how that patent works and how it could work in other games. And then I want to look at how this patent might be the chance for us, people who love open world PvP, to have the game exactly how we want it and intend it, whilst not impacting those people who like a PvE journey or who like not to be running around and constantly worried about their gear being stolen. Okay, so what is the patent? In 2017, Amazon Games signed to own a patent which is the right to technology which matchmakes people based on their behavior. Okay, so we've already got skill-based matchmaking out there, and that's based on your ability. This is a completely separate system which will matchmake you based on your behavior. In October 2020, that patent was signed off, which means Amazon Games now own the right and the sole right to implement technology, which means people can be match-made based on their behavior and their preferences and how they play the game. Which is really interesting, and really interesting that Amazon Games are the only people to own this right and this patent at the moment. And to me, it says they must have the technology in the works or already have the capabilities to implement that kind of thing into a game. Okay, so the first thing that springs to my head is this will be really great in first-person shooters. We already know about Call of Duty Modern Warfare going through the works with their skill-based matchmaking. And if you don't, they had a bit of an issue where they was trying to implement skill-based matchmaking and it didn't go right, meaning a lot of people who were new to the game were getting very frustrated because they were being matched against people who were clearly outskilling them in every encounter. Now, if you imagine in that game, not only would you have skill-based matchmaking, you could also have behavior-based matchmaking, which is a way to remove all toxicity and aggressive play. So, if you imagine, you could be put into a lobby with like-minded players, which meant if you were somebody who liked to be really aggressive, push every single encounter, and on top of that, swear and shout, be really rude, and be quite horrible over the mic, you could be. There's no kind of penalty for that anymore. What you would instead have would be a lobby filled with like-minded individuals who would all feel, think, and act the same. Now, again, this is all in theory, but that's what behavioural matchmaking could and probably would look like. So now coming on to New World, there's a key thing that I'd like to pull out of that example, and it's removing toxicity. The main reason why open world full loot PvP has been removed from New World is because of the toxicity of players and how it felt for the players who didn't want to be involved in that. If you implement that system into this game, in theory, you could have matchmaking, putting people into different instances and different versions of the game based on their preference, without the player having to choose or pick anything. It would all be done by this algorithm and this system, which would pick up on your behaviors and your play style, and maybe how many reports players have reported you for. Now, that might be quite far-fetched because, like I said, this is probably more suited to the title Crucible from Amazon Games. But that title's gone. They got rid of that title. It's been scrapped. So the main title that they're working on at the moment is the MMO. right? It's New World. So I might be making quite a few assumptions here and quite a few jumps, and I definitely have got my tinfoil hat on. But if Amazon have the sole rights to this technology, and they're only working on a certain amount of games, surely as a company you would want to try and implement that technology into one of your games, which means New World. And for me, the best way to try and remove certain behaviours would be looking at PvP, because PvP is where we see a lot of toxicity. And in order for that to be really effective, you would need to give alpha players and beta testers a chance to be toxic, which would mean giving them the opportunity to gank lower level players. So, here we go, like the conclusion. Amazon could, in theory, use this patent for this new technology to implement into their biggest game at the moment, which is New World, and that could mean that we could get open world full loop PvP back. You've probably guessed it by the way I'm speaking about it, but I'm a huge advocate and fan of full loop PvP. It's a very interesting and I know unique gameplay style, but it's one that I really enjoy, and I would definitely support being back in this game. So listen, that's a lot of information and a lot of things, but ultimately I think it could be a way of implementing open world full loop PvP back into New World. But what do you think? Do you completely hate open world PvP and you just don't want it in? Do you think that you do want it in, but this isn't going to happen, this isn't the way? And do you think that I'm just absolutely batshit crazy? Like, I'm cool with either, but just let me know in the comments below so we can talk about it, because I like to talk about these games with people. So let's chat. If you liked what you've seen today, then please make sure you subscribe. And I know that sounds quite generic, but again, we love talking to people about games, and this is how we're choosing to do it. So if you like what you see, please support us and check out the rest of the New World videos as well. Okay, thank you very much. I've been Reevesy, you've been watching Week of Geek, and we'll see you next time.